Hello all, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about an incident that happened in New York last week on the subway. You know how New York has these ridiculous draconian gun laws, and then it's even crazier how people follow that garbage. So there was a man on a train, and a woman and two other men got on the train after he was already on, and they approached him, and he ended up getting shot to death. Criminals in New York don't leave their guns at home, so why should you? Check out this news story.
Police have arrested and charged the suspects in the fatal shooting of a man on board the D train up in the Bronx.
Briella Tomasetti, she is live in the concourse section with the latest, including the charges these suspects face. Briella, good morning.
Yeah, Tashani and Dan, good morning to both of you. We're learning more at this hour about what actually led to the death of 45-year-old William Alvarez. It was initially thought that he was stabbed to death on that D train, but investigators say the three suspects and Alvarez were actually fighting, struggling over a gun when the weapon suddenly went off.
Anything you want to say?
The three suspects wanted in connection with last week's deadly attack on board a Manhattan-bound D train are in police custody. 24-year-old Justin Hurd, 38-year-old Betty Cotto, and 42-year-old Alfredo Trinidad are each charged with murder, manslaughter, and criminal possession of a weapon. Police say the suspects were picked up just before noon yesterday at an apartment in the Bronx after the fatal encounter was caught on security camera footage.
This is a homicide investigation. This is as serious as it gets.
According to the NYPD, 45-year-old William Alvarez was sitting on the train early Friday morning when Hurd, Cotto, and Trinidad got on at the Fordham Road station. One of the suspects sat down next to Alvarez and an argument broke out. The dispute turned physical with the two others joining in. At some point, a gun went off, killing Alvarez. His death marks the second fatal shooting in the transit system this month. Just 11 days earlier, one person was killed and 5 others were injured in a shooting at the Mount Eden station.
Crime was up 45% in January, driven by grand larcenies. We find ourselves arresting people, we'll call them recidivist criminals, that have been arrested over and over again.
Despite those two deadly shootings, the city says subway crime is down by more than 17% in February. The NYPD has surged its presence on trains and platforms by up to 1,000 cops a day. Meanwhile, crime and safety were first on the agenda at yesterday's MTA committee meeting.
Here we are in 2024, and we've had 3 murders. People are being slashed. A station agent was assaulted. What is going on in New York City Transit?
The real message should be to the misbehaving ridership that's out there is that we're on this. We're going to stay on it.
The MTA says there have been 6 attacks on transit workers so far this year, resulting in 4 arrests. Now, those 4 people altogether combined had a total of 49 other arrests. The suspects in this case, meanwhile, could be formally charged as early as this morning. For now, though, we're live here outside Bronx Criminal Court. Dan, back to you.
Charges could be coming. Okay, thank you very much, Briella.
49 arrests between the 3 of them. If that ain't crazy and ridiculous, I don't know what is. So, starting at the beginning of this craziness. So the guy was on a train in the morning, either on his way to or from work probably, and then he was accosted by those 3 that got on the train at another stop. And then one of the suspects, he sat next to him, and they said an argument ensued. Now, if I'm on public transportation, which I probably never will be from this point, but if I was, and if the train is not that crowded and somebody comes and sits right next to me, I'm moving. Because I don't want somebody invading my personal space like that, because if the train's not crowded, then I know they're probably up to no good. But if the train is crowded, and someone sits next to me like that, like they make a beeline toward me like that, then I'll probably just stand up, move away, and stand up, because I'm in a much better position to defend myself, to draw my firearm, go hands on, whatever, if I'm standing up as opposed to sitting down. Criminals in New York don't leave their guns at home. So why should you? Huh? Regular citizens, why are you leaving your guns at home? Because they have that ridiculous, unconstitutional law in New York that says you can't bring guns on public transit, which I think is a bunch of BS. I would carry mine anyway. When I went to that hellhole of New York one time, I had to park my trailer almost touching these vehicles on the street, and there still was hardly any room for people to drive by. It was crazy. That was the absolute worst hour and 15 minutes of my life. I didn't even want to do the moving job. I did it against my better judgment, but I charged people a lot of money, so that kind of made up for it. But I'll never do it again, no matter how much money someone's offering me. That place is horrible. And of course, I carry my firearms anyway. I always do wherever I go. Like I say in my other videos, don't let anyone dictate the manner in which you protect yourself. Your personal safety and the personal safety of your family is your responsibility, no one else's. I've said numerous times that the Supreme Courts have ruled that the police do not have an obligation to protect you. Their obligation is to uphold the Constitution and enforce the laws. And if by chance they save you in the process, consider that an added bonus. So they said that this guy, they thought he had been stabbed to death, but they found out he had been shot. And so all three of those people, they were charged with manslaughter or murder, and also I think armed robbery and criminal possession of firearms. So chances are they had the firearms with them. They didn't take it from the victim. But if that victim had his own firearm on him, he could have possibly turned the tables and shot all three of them. That would have been a very favorable outcome. So I need y'all to take something from this and remember to stay armed, stay vigilant, and stay tactical. See y'all next time.